Hello and welcome back. Today we will be talking some more about the United States Open tennis tournament, the men's singles and the women's singles in this video, and we will be discussing how bad my predictions were, some upsets, and obviously the quarterfinals heading into the semifinals tomorrow with the current state of tennis. So I'm going to start on the men's singles side, where we have one quarterfinal match that has been played today, and one quarterfinal match today, and then obviously there's three quarterfinalists right now. So we'll start all the way back yesterday, Tuesday, if you will, September 2nd. We had two matches that day. The first match was also the first match on Ash. We had the 20th seeded Yuri Lehechka face off against the 2 seeded Carlos Alcaraz. Lehechka honestly got dog walked the first two sets. He lost the first set 6-4. It was a close set, but the break that separated the two came earlier. So obviously, when that happens, it's when the break comes early, now you're behind a break in the whole set, and so you can't really get back into it, especially against a player like Carlitos. And obviously, breaking early gives you the most opportunity to break back. But obviously, he didn't do that. I am so grainy on my screen. Anyways, I don't know if that's like my camera issue or just. I hope not. I'll see when I upload the video. But anyways, the second set was more of a beatdown. Lehechka lost 6-2. Obviously, that's a double break. And then, so he was down 2 sets to love, and just really out of it. Carlos, by the way, heading into the semifinal, has won 15 straight sets here. And obviously, I don't know how far back that stat dates in Cincinnati, which he obviously won just the last week against Yannick in the final, where Yannick tired due to heat sickness at 5-love in the first set, so it wasn't close anyway. He was really feeling it. And the third set was a lot more competitive. It got to 4-all, and the pressure got too much for Lehechka. He broke, and Carlitos served it out, winning the match 6-4, 6-2, 6-4. And what we can take away from this is that bald Carlos really is more dynamic than the hairy Carlos that's usually on court. Carlos Alcaraz, if you don't know, had a little mix-up before this tournament started with his brother / barber, I believe, who accidentally messed up his haircut. So they shaved all his hair off. Now, obviously, he is not actually bald. They didn't shave like the roots, so his hair's growing back. But like, I don't really know what those are called. But there was no hair, but you could see where it was going to go back, and it's already started to grow back. His hair goes very fast. Moving into the second match of the day, this is the last match on Ash, because now that we're in the quarterfinals, 4 matches a day, throw them all on Ash. Semifinals, 2 matches a day, throw them on Ash. You know what I mean? The best stadium at the U.S. Open, Arthur Ashe. Djokovic played Fritz in the night match of the United States Open for yesterday, and this match started with Djokovic winning the first set 6-3. Wasn't really a close set. Obviously, Fritz falls down a break, can't get back into it. And then the next set, this is where it got interesting because Fritz got it to 5-all. He went down a break in the set, and it was like 3-1 or something like that. And then he broke back and got it to 5-all. But then he broke again, giving Novak the set 7-5. So after the first 2 sets, Fritz was down 6-3, 7-5, and it was looking really bad for Taylor Fritz. But out of nowhere, he pulled out a huge early break in the third and coasted all the way to the finish of that set at 6-3 because he had server's advantage. So he didn't even need a second break. He just coasted 5 service games in a row and won the set 6-3, making the score 2-1. Now then, for the next 5 games, reminder, Fritz served out the set. We were on serve, so Novak took a 5-4 lead into the game, and Fritz started to struggle really bad, getting himself into a 40-15 or a 15-40 deficit, but miraculously pulled off 2 second serve point wins and another one right after to take the advantage in the game. So now Fritz had game point to get us to 5-all, where we were in that second set that he ended up losing that one. But besides the point, it could have went differently. But on game point, Novak got a net cord, caused Fritz to run in, and gave Novak the winner. So it got to 40-all again. Fritz commits an unforced error. Break point. Fritz double fault. No, match point. Fritz double faults. It's over. It's over. A double fault on match point in the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open for Taylor Fritz. But I honestly do not hate like how he performed at this tournament. Obviously, home tournament, but he was he was a finalist last year, so he's gonna lose some points. Drop off won't be as big as some others at this tournament, but he'll lose some points. But he's still gonna be in the top 10 pretty easily. So that was the men's side for Tuesday. I guess we'll transition over to the women's, and we can talk about the match that happens today, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. The two matches that happened today. But first, women's side yesterday. Let's start by saying there was only one match played today. That was Jessica Bakula played versus Barbara Krejcikova, who is the comeback kid, if you would. Sorry. I heard something. I didn't know if my name is getting called. I do not think it is. But 2 days ago against Taylor Townsend, who obviously Yelena Ostapenko was racist towards Taylor Townsend, and I will call it racism. It's not drama, it's racism. I hate that some tennis fans mask it as it's drama. She called her classless, she called her uneducated just because she didn't apologize for a net cord that did not directly impact the point. It didn't hit the net and go like this. It hit the net and went like that. It's not like, you don't have to apologize for that. The point kept going. She lost the point. So Taylor Townsend moved on and had the crowd rallying behind her, which led to her defeating the WTA number 5 in the world in the next round. And now today, if you don't know, Taylor Townsend is the number 1 player in the world in doubles. So she's either number 1 or number 2 because she plays with Pliskova a lot, and they're the best players in the world. So that led to her. After being the Andreeva, she played Barbara Krejcikova, and she came out firing. She came out amazing. She came out beautifully winning the first set 6-1, and it was like, oh, Taylor Townsend, the American dream, is heading to the quarterfinals for the first time in her career. And then in the second set, it got to, I believe she was up a break at some point, but in the WTA, breaks are more common. I'll actually check the stat, how many breaks just were there in this game. There was 10 total breaks, 4 from Krejcikova, or 6 from Krejcikova, 4 from Townsend. That's break points converted, I think. Yeah, okay. So in the second set, match point number 1 came at 5-4. It was Krejcikova's serve, and it was an ace. So it was 1 match point. She lost that. She lost that 5-all. She lost her service game. So Krejcikova is serving up 6-5 in the set. She's serving for the set, and then she lost that. So there's 2 breaks right there, right? 6-all. And then, if you watch this tiebreak live, I know not many of my viewers are probably tennis fans, but if you watch this tiebreak live, you saw the epitome of heartbreak. You saw the epitome of tennis with a 25-minute, 28-point tiebreak. It was absolutely ridiculous. This tiebreak was. It was one of the best tiebreaks I've ever seen. Sorry, I was just getting something off my screen there. One of the best tiebreaks I've ever seen. And Krejcikova took the tiebreak 15-13 after 7 more match points. 7. 2 on the Townsend serve, 5 on her serve. Townsend didn't convert 1 match point. Not 1. And then we hit the third set. And by the way, I watched this match live, so if I'm more descriptive, that's why some of these matches I didn't catch the whole thing. I caught the end of the Fritz match last set. So that's why I was but then we reached the third set. Krejcikova, she breaks Townsend early. She's up in the game, and it hits, I think it was 4-1. Townsend holds serve. Krejcikova's got to go to serve. She then breaks right back. So now it's 4-3 she's serving, and I literally said it while it was happening, because she, like, when she broke, she let out, like, a roar of emotion. I knew when that happened, I'm like, oh, she's not winning this match. She's too into it, she's gonna break. And she did just that. Barbara Krejcikova held her serve, and came back 8 match points down, which is the most at the US Open ever, and I believe third most or second most in Open history for any tournament. So an absolutely amazing performance by Krejcikova to come back 1-6 in the first set and 8 match points down in the second and win 1-6, 7-6, 13, 6-3. It was an absolutely peak match, and that led to Taylor Townsend being eliminated to the comeback kid Krejcikova, who was down like 3-love, 2 breaks, where she was down 3-love, 1 break, 15-40, double break point, and came back from that too and won the match. So she was known as the comeback kid. And then Vondrousova won her match that day, and she went on to play what she should have played Sablenka in the quarterfinals yesterday on Ash, but she was injured. So even though she made it to the quarter, she was not able to continue past that, and she had to retire. And so Arna Sablenka is into another major semifinal. And now what is the last hope for Americans as she dog-walked Krejcikova. Krejcikova's comeback story ended. I thought after the first set 6-3, I was like, oh, she's going to find a way to win this match. Unfortunately for Barbara Krejcikova, Pegula advanced 6-3, 6-3. Was the last surviving American. And Pegula, I don't think she's... It does she? That she does. So Arna Sablenka will... Oh, yeah, because, yeah. Will play Jess Pegula in the semifinals. The winner of that obviously will play the winner of the next matchups we'll talk about. The first one being Iga Swiatek versus Amanda Anisimova. This was the first getting confirmation. Was this the first? If I see the match, no, this is the second match today. Felix and Alex played earlier, but anyways, moving into that, because we're too deep into this women's game lore right now for me to move off of it. And there's a crazy stat I want to share with you, but we have to get to that. Amanda Anisimova played Iga Swiatek. And obviously, if those two names sound familiar, that was because it was your 2025 Wimbledon finalist. So this matchup had already happened previously, and actually her making the finals catapulted her back to like 8th or 9th in the rankings. She's top 10 now, Amanda Anisimova. So good for her. If you don't know, she took a mental health break back in, I think it was like 2022. And then I think she didn't play a lot of tournaments like in her career from then, so she kind of took a dip. But obviously now back into the top 10. An amazing story is Amanda Anisova's, similar to one of Naomi Osaka's, except I don't think Osaka ever took a break. But it looks like Osaka's getting better, because she was not there mentally at the start of the season. So it is good to see these players gaining confidence in their games. And so if you recognize this game from Wimbledon, which even if you're not a tennis fan, you might, it's because it was the fastest Wimbledon final ever, where Iga Swiatek won Wimbledon 6-love, 6-love on the final day. But today was the literal opposite. The opposite of that happened. Amanda Anisimova won 6-4, 6-3. I did not watch this match because I was at school, and by the time I got back, one set and a breakup was Anisimova, and she just cruised to the finish line. And so Amanda Anisimova, after taking a mental health break, has now made the final at Wimbledon and the semifinal at the U.S. and writing. You know what I mean? Like, and going. And now the next matchup, the one that is currently happening on our Thrash, like right now, like as I speak at 7:57 p.m., is Naomi Osaka versus Caroline Muchova. And now this is an interesting stat. Well, I was thinking about the women's game, and I was thinking the women's game was so much better than the men's because it's more unpredictable. I looked at the U.S. Open semifinalists last year. Sabalenka, it was Sabi, Muchova, Pagula, and then someone else. I forget the fourth, but yeah, because like 3 of the 4 will be the same potentially. But there is one player who can stop that from happening on Ash right now. It's on serve. It's looking to stay on serve to 4-all, as Muchova is serving for 4-all. But Caroline Muchova, the 11th seed, is playing the 23 seed from Japan, Naomi Osaka. Now this sounds like it would favor Muchova, But like I said, Osaka didn't she didn't take a formal break, I don't think, but she did have like an injury and stopped playing for a little bit, or just not play as many tournaments, to kind of play close to the line. But she is now 23rd. But one of the stats about her as we enter the quarterfinal round of the U.S. Open is Naomi Osaka has won, I think, 4 Grand Slams. It's either 3 or 4. I'm going to look this up so I don't want to make a fool out of myself. Osaka Grand Slam. I think it's 3 now that I think about it, but no, it's 4. U.S. Open, Australian Open, and 3 Australian Opens. No, 2 U.S. Opens, 2 Australian Opens. She wins on hard courts. But those date further back. Those date 2019, 2021, 2018, 2020. So obviously she had it before went well. But Naomi Osaka, and she's like heavily favored to win this match, has never in her career lost a match in the quarterfinal rounds or later in a Grand Slam. She has made the quarterfinals 4 times. This is the 5th. She has won the tournament 4 times. This is the 5th. So she can give up this great stat. It would be impeccable, incredible from her. And so going off that, my prediction would be for her to keep the stat at least today, beat Muchova, which would make our semifinal matchups Arna Sablenka versus Jessica Pegula. Oh, Amanda Anisova is American, yeah, because she used to be Russian, but since she was born on American soil, when they took the Russian stuff away, she was like, all right, I'll just play for America. I was born here. You know what I mean? So she is American. She does show us American. Because if you don't know, tennis or the WTA and ATP and like the Challenger Tour, they all banned the Russian flag. Like, yeah, if you're Russian and you don't want to go by anything else, if you don't have any other nationality, it's just blank for you. And that is because of the war that is happening in Russia and Ukraine. So now they cannot have that on their thing. So and so as American, so my prediction for it is obviously Amanda Anisova versus Osaka, Pegula versus Sabalenka, and my finals prediction would be Osaka. Osaka's going to beat Anisova in 3 sets. I think that maybe even a 3rd set tiebreaker. That's a little optimistic for me to hope for that. And then Sabalenka is going to beat. No. Sabalenka is she? Is she? Because Sabalenka's been having a hard season, but you have to think it's still the Tiger. It's still Sabalenka. But if I have Osaka winning, I'll have to give it to Pegula, the American Dream, just to give that bit of hope. And so Pegula will play Osaka in the final. And then we might have a moment just like we did when Osaka won one of her United States Opens a while ago. I don't think we'll have the exact moment where the Pegula would get called out for cheating, yell at the umpire about how great she is, and then all the fans would boo Osaka for winning the match, which is just horrible. Because Serena Williams just didn't win. Like, get over it. You know what I mean? That happened. Yes, that like that's gonna help your mental health when a bunch of people boo you for winning. Like what? But anyways, I believe they would cheer for her this time because Osaka is beloved by the tennis community, as are her Labubu's that she's been adopting throughout the wins this week. Arthur Flash, Billie Jean Bling, and she has another one, but I forget its name. But she has bedazzled Labubu's that she adds to her bag after every win. Where after like the later round wins, I don't think she did in the early rounds. But anyways, now that we got that, and now that I'm telling you, I think Osaka wins the Grand Slam just because of that crazy stat. I don't think I actually said that, but I do think Osaka will win the U.S. Open from here on out. Let's transition back into the men's game. Let's talk about Felix versus Alex today. Felix Auger-Aliassime versus Alex de Minaur in the quarterfinals today. The 8th-seeded Australian Alex de Minaur versus the 25th-seeded Felix Auger-Aliassime. Alex de Minaur took the first set by a break, and then the next 3 sets went 7 games, or not 7 games, but the winner took 7 games. The next set was a contested tiebreak in which this happened while I was at school. So if I'm not as descriptive, it's because I kind of was watching it, but I couldn't because I had to do schoolwork. I wasn't watching, I was following the score. Alex went up a mini break early in the tiebreak, but then lost his serve and then lost one in the next, giving Felix the tiebreaks to 7-6. Then in the next set, Alex was down 5-4. Felix was serving for the set, up 15-love. Broke through that game, so it's 5-all, 3rd set, 1-set-all. Then Alex broke right back, giving Felix a set 7-5. And then in the last set, Felix just closed it out in a 7-6 tiebreaker, heading him to the semifinals, probably for the first time in his career. And then the second match is 2 Italians, Lorenzo Musetti, the 10 seed, versus Yannick Sinner, the 1 seed. And let's be honest, we can skip this part, but I'm not going to. I do think Sinner's going to win. I have hopes for Mazzetti because he's been performing on hard court so good this tournament, and he hasn't this year at all. But this tournament, he's really put it up. Realistic prediction, I think Sinner in 4. I think Musetti takes set. Optimistic prediction, Musetti in 4. I would say Musetti in 5, but if it gets to a fifth set, it might get crazy. So if I'm being an optimist, I think he can maybe close it out in 4 if he gets really lucky. But my real prediction would see Sinner moving through, creating a matchup this Friday of Felix and Sinner, Djokovic and Alcaraz. And I don't think we'll start at Felix and Sinner because that's an easy one. But I believe Felix beat Sinner before. Oh yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't there. Yeah, the last time they played with Cincinnati, obviously in the quarterfinal, and it was 6-0, 6-2 in like an hour. I do remember that for Sinner. So obviously, I favor him. He won the Felix, but then Felix won the last 3 matchups they played 4 times. Felix won 3 of them, but they date back to 2022. But even that's not that crazy. That was like prime Felix though. My prediction: Yannick in 3. Yannick goes on to the final. But now here's where I'm gonna get off the rails and say Djokovic beats Carlos Alcaraz in 5 sets because that would be like an amazing match to watch. Ooh, I'm way too close. Amazing match to watch. If Djokovic played Alcaraz and it went to 5 sets, I would really like that. So I'm going to predict that. Realistic prediction: Alcaraz in 4. What I want: Djokovic in 5. We're going Djokovic in 5 for this one. Final, Djokovic Sinner. Give me the greatest tennis player of all time, the phenomenon, the Serbian king, Novak Djokovic, to win his 25th Grand Slam. 25! That's what's up. Novak for 25. US Open 2025. You can't script it better, and you won't script it better. Novak is your US Open champion. Novak and Naomi Osaka. That's my dream pair. I know it's yours too. So we're going to root for Novak. We're going to root for Naomi Osaka. And we are going to win because they are going to win. Anyways, if you made it to the 22-minute mark, thank you very much. I did not mean for this to go this long because I have plans in like 20 minutes. I got a fantasy draft. But that's what happens when you start talking about I start talking about tennis. I can't stop. I like to be able to like share my thoughts, especially about tennis, because not many people watch tennis. So when I talk about tennis, it's like I get to talk. It's my turn to talk. You know what I mean? So anyways, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, expect more tennis content in the future. And hopefully it's not as poor quality as it is right now on my camera for you guys. And anyways, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.